Hi, my name is Tyler Sadlowski, and today I'm going to be talking about the rise of cloud computing. So, just a brief agenda of what I'm going to be covering today. I'm going to be going over just an introduction of what cloud computing is, the advantages and disadvantages that come with using cloud services, the markets that it's affecting, how one would become a dominant force within the industry, how Amazon, Microsoft, and Google have advantages when they entered this industry, and other various ethical practices that come with it. So, what is cloud computing? It offers computer power applications, database storage, along with other IT resources all on the go. Everything can be accessed on demand through the cloud services platform on the internet, whatever device you may be using. There are platforms that provide rapid access to flexible IT resources at a low cost, and it allows you to use as many resources as necessary almost instantly. And it's pay as you go, so you don't have to pay a flat rate for it. Moving on to the advantages of cloud computing. To begin, one of them is that it's cost efficient. As I just mentioned, it's pay as you go, and they have other scalable rates, but it's typically pay as you go, so you're not paying a flat rate for it, whereas you could be paying so much and using so little. It's specifically what you do is what you pay for, and it's the best in terms of if you were using hard software. Cloud computing, it's a significant reduction in IT expenses in terms of maintaining, using, and upgrading it. It has unlimited storage capacity, so you never really have to worry about when you may have to update your storage drive or when you're running out of space. It's pretty much unlimited storage capacity, so you never have to worry about such factors. The backup and recovery data is great because just in terms of physical backup, it's not as efficient, it's not as consistent, and it's not as safe. Whereas if you have an online cloud where all your stuff is backed up, it's a lot easier to recover data because most cloud services take care of the recovery process for you, so you don't really have to go through that process. And just a couple other things, it's easy to access and it's very quickly deployable. So moving on to the disadvantages of cloud computing, they're most likely what you would expect with technology like this. And one of them is technical issues that pretty much comes with any other form of technology. You can have unexpected downtime, server downtime, and things that are really unpreventable. And perhaps the two most worrisome factors for companies and management to consider are the security and being prone to attacks that you have with cloud services. You're handing over all your data to a third party provider, so it's important to pick the most reliable company possible and throw your information out there. You're prone to attacks from hackers and data breaches. So, how it affects other products, specifically looking at computer and software makers, they've been on a decline since the rise of cloud services have come about because more physical assets in terms of IT software and hardware have taken a back seat to all these cloud services. As you know, it's mostly dominated by the advantages. It's much cheaper to use, it's much easier to use, as opposed to physical infrastructure. And that's kind of the current trend that's been going on for a while now since it's really been introduced across the globe. Because cloud services, they're going to provide you with the software you need, and they're completely mobile. You can use them on your mobile device, tablets. For example, the Microsoft Surface. It's going to provide a lot of flexibility in terms of not always needing to be near your computer in the office, as you can use it on the go. And looking at the winners and losers in this situation, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are such winners as they've rolled out their cloud services that they offer to clients and customers. And the losers are those computers and software makers as they're losing revenue to the rise of cloud computing. So, looking at how one would dominate the industry, it would take a large and relevant company such as previously mentioned Amazon, Microsoft, and Google to take interest in cloud computing, which they did, and then to properly utilize all the resources, capital that they have, the technology that they have, and turn it into a cloud computing giant in the industry. And in order to truly take over the industry, the best way to do this would be to minimize the risk, because when looking at the disadvantages that come with cloud computing, they're not completely, you can't completely wipe them out, as technical issues, privacy, and being prone to hackers is not really something that you can completely eliminate right now with technology in 2019. The best you can do is minimize your residual risk as much as possible, where you can say that you offer the top protection, you have the best firewalls, you have the least amount of data breaches, you have the least reported downtime across the industry. So that's really the best way to go about it, and how you would become a giant in the industry. So moving on to Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, and the advantages that they come with when they would enter an industry such as this. They have the value, the resources and capital, brand recognition, loyalty, success, and experience. So what do I mean with all that? Their value in terms of worldwide, they're always among the top 3 or top 5 most valuable companies in the world. So they have the resources and capital and the necessary finances to venture off into something like this, which they did earlier on. And basically they have, in terms of like comparing it to a small startup company, where if you were looking to invest in cloud services, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, they can make mistakes, whereas a small startup would have to be more cautious with what they're spending. And the same thing goes with your brand recognition and your loyalty. Pretty much everyone watching this has probably used an Amazon, Google, or Microsoft product, or most likely all 3 of them. So you've had experience using their products, you know the quality that comes with it, and you know those brands and you're familiar with them. And when it comes to brand loyalty, for those who have used their products, a lot of them come back to it. They know the quality that comes with it. So when a company is looking for a data services provider, they're going to know, they're going to have the experience with one of those 3 companies, and they're going to look to use them as their data service provider. And in terms of success and experience, their success and experience is really unprecedented across any type of industry. So in comparison to a small startup, they're not really going to be able to match that success and experience that these 3 companies have had. And just looking at some ethical situations to consider, the privacy, a lot of it, well, to start off, a lot of it has to do with and is similar to the code of ethics for IT. So it's the privacy of employee and customer data. You can have access to conversations, emails, data, and files, so you want to keep them and remain them private. Protection of the customer and the employee base. You're in charge and you have a moral duty to make that customer whole in the case of data breaches and other events like that. Equal customer responsiveness. Say if there was a crisis, it's natural to consider that you're going to look to help the highest paying clients first, whereas you need to, treat all customers equally, and you can't necessarily weed out certain customers that you know are going to bring you in the most money and continue to bring you in the most money post-crisis situation. Honesty about security and policy updates. And again, most of the ethics in the cloud services industry has a lot to do with the code of ethics for IT. So just to conclude, I'd like to say thank you for listening to my presentation, and please post any comments and questions you have down below. Thank you.